Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say, because this might not be what you're used to hearing in a world filled with noise and distraction. But if you listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your heart, something will shift inside you today. There's a silent statistic that governs the lives of millions. It's not published in newspapers. It's not talked about in the schools. It's not preached from most pulpits. But it is real, and it is tragic. That statistic says this: only 2% of people in this world truly succeed, while 98% merely exist. Only 2% rise to the top of their calling, while the rest drift, hoping life will hand them what only purpose can deliver. And so the question is not, why do so few succeed? The question is, why do so many fail? You are not born to blend in. You are not created to be average. You are not designed to survive. You are crafted to dominate, breathed into by the very mind of God, shaped in purpose, molded in destiny. But somewhere between birth and adulthood, we were taught to settle. We were taught to follow the crowd, to seek safety instead of calling, comfort instead of conviction. Let me tell you something. Success is not a secret. It's a pattern. It's a principle. It's predictable. But so is failure. The tragedy is that most people are more committed to routine than they are to purpose. They wake up, eat, work, sleep, and repeat, but never stop to ask, why am I here? What was I born to do? What am I carrying inside of me that the world is dying to see? The 2% ask different questions. The 2% are not smarter. They're not necessarily richer. They're not more talented. They just made a decision. They made a choice to live intentionally. They made a vow not to die full. They looked at mediocrity and said, "You will not be my legacy." You see, the enemy of success is not failure. The enemy of success is distraction. It's comfort. It's compromise. It's comparison. It's waiting for permission to be who you already are. But the 2%, they don't wait. They don't ask, "Can I be great?" They say, "I was born for greatness. Now let me show it." Purpose is more powerful than ambition, because ambition will chase applause. Purpose chases assignment. And if you don't know your assignment, life will assign you a role you were never designed to play. Let me ask you, what do you carry? What problem were you born to solve? What voice is trapped inside your silence? You don't need to go find success. You need to become it. You don't need to look for purpose. It's been inside you the whole time, waiting for you to believe in what God already put in you. The 98% don't fail because they are cursed. They fail because they never activated what was buried inside. You will never succeed beyond the level of your belief about yourself. And if you see yourself as ordinary, average, common, then life will honor your request. Because life does not respond to desire. Life responds to demand. What you demand from life, life will yield. But if you sit back, hoping for a handout, hoping for a miracle, hoping for a breakthrough that you haven't even prepared for, you will remain in the crowd of the 98%. Let me tell you something powerful. You are pregnant with potential. But potential means nothing until it is delivered. A baby not born becomes a tragedy, and a vision not pursued becomes a regret. I would rather fail trying to be who I was born to be than succeed pretending to be someone I'm not. The 2% do not live by opinion. They live by conviction. The 2% are not moved by trends. They are grounded in truth. The 2% understand that legacy is not what you leave behind. Legacy is what you live right now. What are you depositing into the earth that will still be speaking after you are gone? Some people are so busy trying to make a living, they forget to make a difference. Some are so focused on being accepted, they lose the ability to be authentic. But the 2%, they are different. They know they are not here to fit in. They are here to take over, to occupy, to transform, to multiply what they were given. Listen to me. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. Because once you know who you are, you stop wasting time on who you're not. The average person watches hours of television, scrolls endlessly, gossips daily, complains hourly, but never spends 10 minutes in stillness asking, what is my purpose? What is the assignment over my life? What gift have I buried under fear, under procrastination, under excuses? And yet, the clock is ticking. Every breath is a withdrawal from the bank of your life. You don't have time to live like the 98%. You don't have time to delay destiny. You don't have time to be normal. If you don't use your time intentionally, someone else will use it for you. The 2% understand that discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Discipline separates dreamers from doers. Everybody wants to be successful, but most aren't willing to pay the price. They want the promise without the process, the glory without the grind. But life doesn't work like that. Heaven doesn't bless laziness, and the earth doesn't reward apathy. The 98% live by emotions. The 2% live by decisions. They decide to grow. They decide to learn. They decide to keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when no one claps, even when the results are invisible. Why? Because they are committed to purpose over popularity, process over praise, destiny over distraction. You were born to solve a problem. You were born with answers inside of you. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are not the result of biology. You are the result of intention. You are the result of divine design. That means your very existence is evidence that something is missing in the world until you show up. But here's the truth. Potential unused is potential wasted. Greatness undiscovered becomes greatness buried. The richest place on earth is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It's not the gold mines of South Africa. The richest place on earth is the graveyard, because there lie books never written, songs never sung, businesses never launched, solutions never created, visions never fulfilled, because the majority died full. But the 2%, the 2% that made a vow to die empty. Your job is not your life. Your career is not your calling. You must rise above the paycheck and ask, what is my purpose? Because purpose will wake you up in the morning with fire in your bones. Purpose will push you past fear, past rejection, past resistance. And when you find your purpose, don't expect everyone to understand. Don't expect everyone to clap. Because the 98% don't like the 2%. You know why? Because the 2% remind them of what they could have been. So when you decide to break free, don't be surprised when people say, you've changed. Yes, you have changed. You stopped playing small. You've stopped hiding your light. You've stopped living beneath your design. You have one life, one chance, one assignment. Don't waste it in neutral. Don't waste it waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is only purpose. And the moment you align with it, everything begins to shift. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You've already been authorized by your Creator. The breath in your lungs is your permission. The gift in your spirit is your confirmation. The fire in your soul is your instruction. Now go. Go be who you were born to be. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more clarity. The world doesn't need more copycats. It needs originals. And the world doesn't need more people surviving. It needs more people who dare to succeed. The 2%, they're not lucky. They're not special. They're simply those who decided, I will not die with my treasure still inside me. And I believe that today you just joined them. You see, the system was never designed to make you free. It was built to make you fit, to make you conform. You go to school to learn how to memorize, not how to think. You get a job to earn a living, but not to discover a life. You follow the pattern, but the pattern was never made to take you to your purpose. The 2% wake up and realize, this system is too small for my destiny. They realize that routine is a cage when it doesn't align with calling. And they start breaking out. They start asking dangerous questions. Why am I doing this? Who told me this was success? Who sold me this version of life? And once you start asking those kinds of questions, the answers will disturb you because you'll see you've been living someone else's idea of your life. You weren't born to be tamed. You weren't born to be domesticated. You weren't born to live paycheck to paycheck, stress to stress, Monday to Monday, with no vision for why you're alive. You carry something holy, something raw, something eternal. And if you don't let it out, you'll suffocate on the inside while looking fine on the outside. You can wear the suit. You can drive the car. You can post the pictures. But if you're not pursuing purpose, all you have is a polished cage. And I don't care how gold the bars are. If you're not walking in destiny, you're not free. Do you know why most people don't pursue the life they were meant to live? It's not because they lack opportunity. It's not because they lack resources. It's because they lack courage. The 98% live in fear. They fear rejection. They fear failure. They fear being misunderstood. But the 2%, they fear something else. They fear dying with their purpose untouched. They fear leaving this world the same way they entered it, full of untapped glory. Let me tell you something. Every day you delay is a day you dishonor your gift. Every excuse you give is a reason to stay small. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable, you betray your calling. And you can't say you're waiting on God when God is waiting on you. He already gave you the vision. He already gave you the voice. He already gave you the talent. Now he's watching what you will do with it. Heaven is not impressed with potential. Heaven rewards movement. Heaven backs boldness. Heaven partners with people who say, I refuse to be another statistic. I refuse to be another dreamer who never built. I refuse to be another voice that stayed silent. What are you doing with your seed? Because success is not a harvest. It's a response to a seed. And the problem is, many of us are eating our seed instead of planting it. We spend hours, days, even years consuming, but never creating. Watching others rise, clapping for others' purpose, but burying our own. There's a fire in the 2%. They understand that time is not promised. They understand that comfort is a thief. They understand that the price of destiny is discomfort. They embrace the grind. They study. They stretch. They pray. They invest. They risk. And when people say, you're doing too much, they smile because they know what it costs to build what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. They don't need the world's permission. They already have heaven's. They don't wait for applause. They serve their gift in silence until it speaks so loudly it cannot be ignored. Because success is not in the noise. It's in the discipline, the hidden hours, the quiet battles, the nights of tears, the moments of doubt that they conquered with faith. And make no mistake, success will cost you. It will cost you friends. It will cost you approval. It will cost you late nights, early mornings, and uncomfortable truths. But it will also give you something the 98% will never know: peace. Peace that you're walking in alignment. Peace that your life matters. Peace that you're not just surviving, you're fulfilling. So many are waiting for motivation. But the 2% understand it's not about motivation. It's about vision. Because when vision is clear, sacrifice is easy. You stop wasting time. You stop negotiating with distractions. You stop begging people to see your worth. You get laser focused. Because purpose doesn't beg, it builds. It doesn't compete, it creates. It doesn't wish, it works. But you have to decide, because you can't be 98% in public and 2% in private. You can't talk about purpose and then live like a prisoner. You can't preach greatness and then practice mediocrity. There must be integrity between what you believe and how you behave. That's what sets the 2% apart. Their life and their spirit agree. Their talk and their time align. Their dreams and their discipline match. And don't let age deceive you. This is not about being young or old. This is about being willing. I've seen teenagers who walk in purpose with fire and clarity. I've seen elders reignite the spark and finish stronger than they started. Because purpose is not limited by age. It is limited only by your decision to respond. If you still have breath, you still have time. But don't waste that breath complaining. Use it to create. Use it to build. Use it to speak life over what has been sleeping in you. Wake it up. Command it to rise. Take your gift off the shelf. Dust off the dream. Call yourself back to order. Because there's something that's been waiting on you. There's a door that won't open until you knock. There's a destiny that won't move until you move. The 2% understand that greatness is not a moment. It's a pattern, a habit, a a lifestyle. They don't have extraordinary lives because they did one big thing. They have extraordinary lives because they did small things consistently. They prayed when no one saw. They studied when no one clapped. They worked when others slept. And they believed, they believed when it didn't make sense. Because faith will always look foolish at first, until the fruit shows up, until the vision manifests, until the very ones who doubted are asking how you did it. And you'll look back not in pride, but in awe, knowing I made the decision to live like the 2%. Underscore. You have to understand, life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're willing to work for, bleed for, cry for, sacrifice for. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack endurance. They quit too early. They surrender too soon. They walk away at the edge of breakthrough. And all because it got hard. But pressure is the birthplace of purpose. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't purified without fire. Vision doesn't mature without resistance. If you run every time it gets tough, you'll never taste the fullness of what was inside you. The 2% stay. They press. They lean in. Because they understand pain is not the enemy, misalignment is. It's not the struggle that breaks you. It's struggling for what was never yours. You got to be ruthless with distraction. You got to protect your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. What you let in becomes what you act on. If your input is weak, your output will suffer. You can't feed on fear, gossip, and comparison and expect to produce legacy, greatness, innovation. The 2% are intentional about what they consume, what they listen to, who they talk to, where they spend time. Not because they're better, but because they're focused. Focus is the currency of purpose. And focus is expensive, because when you choose it, you say no to 1,000 other things. You say no to parties that don't build you, no to people who don't stretch you, no to trends that don't align with your future. But every no becomes a yes to what really matters. The 98% say someday. The 2% say today. They understand that delay is deception, that the idea of more time is an illusion used to justify procrastination. You don't have more time. You have now. And what you do with now is the seed of everything you'll reap later. Don't you see it? The 2% have mastered one thing the 98% avoid: responsibility. They've stopped blaming. They've stopped excusing. They've stopped pointing fingers. They've taken ownership. Ownership of their thoughts. Ownership of their choices. Ownership of their habits. Because you can't rule anything outside of you until you learn to govern what's inside of you. Leadership is not a title. It's not a platform. It's not a microphone. Leadership is stewardship. Can you manage your gift? Can you multiply your seed? Can you remain faithful when no one's watching? The 2% lead themselves first. That's what qualifies them to lead others. You will never rise above the level of your standards. If you tolerate laziness in yourself, you'll normalize mediocrity. If you settle for just enough, you'll sabotage more than enough. Raise your standard, not for the world. Raise it for you. Raise it for your calling. Raise it for the generations waiting on your obedience. Yes, generations. Because this isn't just about you. This is about legacy. This is about inheritance. This is about the people you'll never meet whose lives will be changed because you chose to rise. Every purpose is generational. Every vision carries ripple effects. The 2% understand they're not just living for themselves. They're building for the unseen. Do you think your battles are just about you? No, they are spiritual contracts with the future. When you conquer fear, you create a path for your children to walk boldly. When you break cycles, you open doors that were locked for centuries. When you rise, you give permission to others to rise. Your purpose is prophetic. It speaks beyond your time. That's why the 2% protect it like treasure. They don't expose it to critics. They don't let small minds handle large vision. They build in silence. They prepare in secret. They develop in the dark. Because they understand that exposure without preparation leads to collapse. And promotion without character leads to destruction. This world celebrates image. But destiny demands substance. You can look successful and still be bankrupt in spirit. You can gain the world and lose your soul. The 2% would rather be rooted than trending. They would rather be deep than wide. Because what is wide but shallow will be washed away when the storm comes. And the storm will come. Success doesn't exempt you from storms. It exposes whether you are ready. And the 2%, they may get hit, but they don't fall apart. Because they were not built on emotion. They were built on values. They don't operate off of how they feel, but off of what they know. They've developed muscle, internal fortitude, spiritual weight. The reason most don't make it isn't because they lacked opportunity. It's because they weren't prepared when it came. They prayed for open doors, but they didn't develop the strength to walk through them. And open doors without readiness become missed opportunities. You must prepare like the door will open any moment. You must train like the spotlight is coming. Because when it does, you won't have time to rehearse. You will only perform what you've already practiced in private. And in that moment, it will be revealed whether you were a talker or a transformer. Don't despise the season of obscurity. Don't curse the silence. That's where the 2% are made. That's where you learn discipline. That's where you find your voice. That's where the anointing is forged. If you skip that, you'll collapse under the weight of the very thing you prayed for. God doesn't develop leaders in palaces. He develops them in deserts. The crowd doesn't validate you there. There's no stage in the wilderness. No applause in isolation. Just you, your thoughts, your calling, and your decision. And that decision must be made over and over again. Not once. Every day. When you're tired. When it's quiet. When nothing's moving. When they don't believe in you. When you don't feel worthy. You choose again. You recommit. You realign. Because vision is not a feeling. It's a covenant. That's what separates the 2%. Covenant. They've made a vow with their own future. And they intend to keep it. Underscore. So I ask you now, which one will you be? Will you stay in the crowd, applauding others while ignoring your own calling? Will you let fear write your story and let comfort bury your gift? Or will you step out? Will you silence the noise, shake off the excuses, and take responsibility for the fire inside you? You don't need another confirmation. You don't need another sign. You don't need everyone to believe in you. What you need is a made-up mind. A mind that says, I refuse to be counted among the 98% who watch life happen. I choose to be among the 2% who make life count. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. So rise. Decide. Align. Build. And let the world see what happens when someone fully commits to the reason they were created. Because once you move like the 2%, talk like the 2%, live like the 2%, you won't just succeed, you'll awaken others to do the same.